Albania, steady economic growth in the past decade has not translated into similar levels of human development across all segments of society. Widespread inequality is the result. Studies revealed that about 15% of Albanian citizens perceive themselves to be socially excluded or at risk of exclusion from development. The people most at risk are those with physical and intellectual disabilities, returning migrants, people living with HIV/AIDS, members of the Roma and Egyptian communities, victims of trafficking or domestic violence, often women, and vulnerable children. The United Nations, with financial support from the government of Switzerland, partnered with the government of Albania to work towards a more inclusive society based on human rights principles, inclusive growth and development. Program interventions include policy support to the government to develop and implement long-term strategies and plans for social inclusion. As part of the program, a number of policy documents have been developed, guiding national policy framework and relevant legal, administrative and financial instruments in shaping both central and local service delivery policies and practice. The program mobilized the best international and national expertise in this area. Knowledge products have provided evidence in the situation for those most at risk of social exclusion. Maps of vulnerability levels as per the different administrative divisions have been developed and used as a social protection planning tool by the central and local administrations. The program has also invested in generating community interest and forging participation in local decision-making related to planning and budgeting of municipal social services. For the first time, 7 municipalities conducted a series of public consultations with citizens, women and men alike, and discussed community needs and priorities in the process of budget planning.
Gjatë procesit të buxhetimit me pjesëmarrje duke pas parasysh gjinin për vitin 2016, që u zhvillua në fund vitin e 2015-s, me mbështetjen e UN Women dhe i zbatuar nga organizata ANEI, një nga kërkesat kryesore ishte dhe mbështetja nga ana e Bashkisë së Fierit e qendrës rinore që do të ndihmonte për zhvillimin social të gjithë Bashkisë së Madhe të Fierit.
As a result, budgets were allocated to advance gender equality through improving a range of services such as social housing and social care services to survivors of domestic violence. In order to translate policies into concrete actions benefiting citizens at risk of exclusion, the UN provided functioning models of effective service delivery to citizens, representing an important step in the implementation of the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, which Albania has ratified. With the belief that strengthening vocational skills is key for social inclusion and socio-economic development, A number of public institutions providing services to people with disabilities were rehabilitated. They include 3 workshops at the Deaf Students Institute, a renovated resource center at the Blind Students Institute, 5 community development centers offering an enabling, practice-focused environment for capacity development, entertainment and socializing opportunities for children with special needs and other marginalized groups. Partnerships with municipalities played a critical role in their successful operation. The UN furthermore partnered with civil society organizations to connect with service providers to empower the most vulnerable and marginalized groups of the population to exercise their right to basic healthcare services. This partnership also promoted the human rights agenda and the implementation of interventions benefiting vulnerable people by placing focus on local partnerships for development.
Qendra me mbështetjen e UNFPA-s është përpjekur që të ofrojë shërbime dhe të mbështesi ato grupe të cënueshme ose vulnerabël që ne I konsiderojmë më të pryrë për të infektuar me infeksionin HIV, apo me infeksionet e tjera të cilat transmetohen nëpërmjet rrugëve seksualisht transmetueshme.
Achieving equality is more complex than raising income and providing access to basic services. It is a human rights issue and remains the most powerful driver for development. Hence, social inclusion requires multi-dimensional efforts from many actors. Striving for true equality is an important component of sustainable development in Albania and a step towards the Agenda 2030 and its main goal, leaving no one behind.